and welcome to today's episode of the Group Therapy Podcast. Today we have Dayton area horror host, Mr. Multo. Tell us about yourself, sir.
Well, I'm Mr. Multo, of course, and I run Morbid Mansion Theater, which is my website. You'll see me frequent the Monster Channel most of all. That's my home away from home. And I'm just like everybody else. I'm just into the horror movies, and that was my thing. And so the best thing to do is just to do my thing and show the movies and have fun. That's what it's all about. It's having fun.
Oh, definitely.
So you can also see me on, of course, Facebook. I do have a YouTube channel, and I have Twitter, but I haven't been on there forever. It's kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever. But it's like I just haven't deleted it yet, the account, but it's still going. But like I said, you Google Mr. Multo, you'll find me. So
okay, you're in the Dayton area.
Yes.
And the Dayton area has a plethora of horror hosts. So does Ohio.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I was a kid, loved Dr. Creep. Dr. Creep was the one I discovered when I was a kid, which is
that's mine.
Yeah. And then more than you, like 10 years ago, I was at a horror hound and they had a room and it was nothing but horror hosts. And I'm like, they're still around? I started looking up all this stuff and I started finding all these people. And now I'm like loving it. It's the new renaissance for horror hosts, I think. Now I'm finding horror hosts everywhere. When did you start?
Actually, I started in 2017 and got a late start. I always wanted to do it. When I was a kid, I seen Host and I always wanted to do it. And I don't know why, just a late start, and the internet, helped out a lot. So I got on YouTube and I started looking, and one of the first ones I found was Bobby the Monster. And I started watching his videos and, checking him out. Then I went from him, I found another one, then I found another one, I found the Bone Jangler, I found Carlos Borloff, Jerry Moore, I found him. I was watching, his stuff, and then I seen Slash. And like I said, it just one thing after another. I just kept seeing it. Halloween Jack, Octavian Hollow, all these people, I just kept seeing more and more and more of them. And then even from here, Baron Von Pork Chop, I seen stuff, so I just, like I said, I was like, man, I'm gonna try that, and so, like I said, I just made my first video. I didn't really know who I was yet, so I just started doing it. I think I had like 3 people that watched my video. And I mentioned Twitter. There was, I cannot remember his name, but there was a guy on there on Twitter, and he had a show, and we would talk back and forth all the time, and we would share each other's links and everything like that. And it just, that's all it was. It was like, I didn't care. I was going to put them on there. I didn't care if anybody watched them or not. That's what I wanted to do. And then, like I said, some of the first videos were, oh my gosh, they're real bad. Yeah. And, but I didn't care. I was having fun. And it took me a while to develop. I was pretty stiff, and just like didn't know what I wanted to do. You got so many people that, try to be scary. You got, some comedy with some, and I was just like, well, what am I going to do? And I just didn't want to copy anybody else, so to me, Mr. Multo is what I feared the most, which was death. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm going to make fun of it. I'm going to have fun with it. So here I am. So like I said, I did that. And then after, probably 6 or 7, I couldn't be serious. I was just like, this is not going anywhere. So I just started being sarcastic. I started being myself, so, that's what come out. So everything, I'd watch movies and, and I'd see stuff in the movies and I was like, really? So I'd start making smart ass comments, so, in the breaks. And, some of the movies I do, I'll put sound effects and stuff in there, because they need it. Some people don't like that. There's traditionalists, they don't want to mess with the movies. And, some of them I won't. I mean, if it's a really good movie that I love, I'll sit there and I'll show it, but I won't do anything to it. I'll just show it and I'll talk about it, and let little things people might not know about it. But most of them know they need help. And you got all these hosts that keep showing the same movies over and over because that's all we can show is public domain.
Yeah.
So you have to add your own touch to it. You have to do stuff to make people enjoy it, So that's what we do.
Well, I think it was last Halloween. I was talking to Steven Baron von Porkchop last week, I think. I went through and I watched all the people's versions of Night of the Living Dead. So literally, I think I watched 10 different versions over 3 days of Night of the Living Dead. Wow. So I watched
amazing.
Oh yeah, like Midnight Mausoleum. I think I watched Sally the zombie cheerleader. I want to keep saying Sally instead of Sally. I
don't feel bad. I'm that way all the time.
I watched all these people, and every one of them was good, but every one of them was different. And
oh
yeah, and it was made rewatching Night of the Living Dead over and over and over again, which I can watch over and over again, anyways. But it made it even more entertaining because you had all the breaks, right? And oh yeah, so that was fun.
Yeah, I mean, I that's one one of my first movies I did. That's in one of my first ones. I'm not real happy with it. It's on my website. You can see all my stuff, so you can see the growth. I have grown a lot, but like I said, I'm not happy with them. One of them I did redo, and they're both on there. It was Vampire Hookers. And it's still to this day, it's still the very first one is still going. I've lost track. It's over 12,000 views. I've lost track of it. But I said, well, it must be the hookers because it's something had drawn people into it. So like I said, I redid it, and when I redid it, I put more special effects in it. I did a bunch of stuff to it, and there's one character, and there's a Filipino guy. He's a comedian, Vic Diaz, and he wants to be a vampire so bad in the movie. So, but he's got a gas problem, So I took advantage of that. I didn't have to put the sound effects in for him because he was doing it in the movie anyway. But I added, like green vapor coming out every time he did it, stuff like that. Made it fun. But I redid that, and it's actually, I don't know, 6,000 or 7,000 views on that one already too. So I wish they'd all do that. That'd be nice, but
I've done the same thing. There are certain episodes of my show, the Saturday Morning Serial Show, that has a huge amount of people watching it. Then the next one's like,
which I do like, by the way.
Oh, thank you. See, that's me, because I was going to do a horror host thing. I had every intention. Had my character, whole 9 yards, and I started watching all the other horror hosts and went, yeah, I can't be that good with some of this stuff, so I'm just going to do something different. I'm just doing Saturday morning.
I'm still not good. I just have fun. I'm just there. Everybody, I get a lot of compliments, but I'm just there. I love it, and if I could, like I said, if I can make one person laugh, I've done my job, so.
Yeah. The whole thing is that, and I've talked to other horror hosts, is like none of them are in it for the money, because there's no money in it,
No, there's no money.
And because there's other people like, well, these guys give me. I'm like, man, every horror host I've ever talked to, they may make a little bit, but basically that goes right back into making more episodes or getting Definitely. Something for the show. And I was like, most of them, it's all about the love of being a horror host, and it just keeps it going.
That's it.
And just having fun, and you guys are all out there a lot. Like, I met you at Horror Hound. I mean,
Correct.
The getting out there at the conventions and talking to people, and all the horror hosts I've met at conventions all love it. They're out there, they get to meet all their fans and stuff like that. And I know that's got to be a hassle because that's travel on top of that. Plus, you got to pay if you're going too far. You got to get a hotel room, food, all that fun
Right.
stuff. Yeah, so it's all about the fun.
Yeah, like I said, that's what it is. I mean, like I said, I like the last year I did a haunted house here in Dayton. It used to be, if I'm not mistaken, I think it still is JC's haunted house over there next to Wright Pat Air Base. And I did that, and then a week later I was at Fairborn's Halloween Festival. And like I said, I go to that every year. Of course, with COVID, we missed a year, couldn't go, but last year was actually real good. It surprises me still, to this day. I'll stay in there and walk around, and the children that come up to me is what shocks me so much. It's like, you'd think they would be scared to death of me, but they all come up, they all want their picture taken with me, and it's amazing. I have a few of them that will kind of be reluctant, and they'll cry, and I'll just wave at them and give them a high five, and the next thing you know, they want their picture taken with me, and I'm like, okay, well, there's no fear there. Okay. But yeah, like I said, there's no money. Only really money that we can even make it all is probably off of merchandise that we sell. And like I said, I've actually got a lot into it. I mean, like you said, think about how far it is. You get a room like Horror Hound. I was there all weekend, so yeah, I had to get a room for the weekend plus the gas, plus eating, and all that stuff. So like I said, but I did pretty well at Horror Hound. But like I said, it does cost you, and I probably got a lot more into it than what I've ever seen. So, but I'll keep doing it, because I love it. So.
Now, you said Dr. Creep the first horror host you saw, or were you one of the kids that watched like Elvira or Joe?
Well, the first host I ever seen was Empty Graves in Florida, because I used to live in Florida.
Okay.
And I didn't really see a whole lot of him because, we didn't, like I said, there wasn't any cable then. It was just, I think I had like 3 channels or something like that, and once in a while I would see him, and I was just like fascinated with it, and lucky for me, my dad, he was into horror movies. So we would watch all the Universal, stuff that was coming out, then, I mean, because, I think like they like starting in the 60s and early 70s, they just re-released all this stuff on the TV, so you got to actually see the classic movies, because they were bombarding them on TV in Florida at that time. And so we would watch them. And so, I just developed this, thing of loving that kind of movies. So then I used to fly up with my mother to visit my grandmother here in Dayton, Ohio. And she was well off. She actually had cable, and I didn't know what the hell that was. I walked in, and there was this box laying there that had 36 channels on it, and I was like, what the hell is this? So, it was summertime. I didn't have school, and I happened to turn it on channel 22, and lo and behold was Clubhouse 22. And I was sitting there watching it, kids show, and it had Joe Smith and Duffy the dog, and then lo and behold, they had like a little cutout with a door right in the middle, and Dr. Creep would come on there, and he was just like the comedy relief, at that time. So, they would introduce cartoons and stuff for the kids, and he'd take an occasional pie to the face, stuff like that. And I was fascinated with him when I seen him. Next thing I know, him and Duffy the dog were at Airway Shopping Center. So I was like, I gotta go. Take me down there. So, I went down there and got an autographed picture from him and, stuff like that. And then, of course, as I went into the teen years, I had a Shock Theater, was on. And that was like a ritual. I'd always watch Shock Theater. And then, of course, they moved this time slot to Saturday night. And that's when Saturday Night Dead come out, right after Saturday Night Live, so, and I kept watching him. And then, of course, then I got cable and then flipping around through the channels, I got on WTTV in Indiana, Sammy Terry. And so that really got me too, because he was more, the original Sammy Terry was more on the spooky side. There was some comedy aspect to it, but not very much. He was more the spooky side, serious, but I was just like intrigued with it, so like I said, that's what I've always been into, the horror stuff, so I love it.
Okay. Now we're gonna start hitting some hard hitting questions now.
Oh boy.
All right, ready?
I guess.
Money is no issue. What movie are you putting on your show?
Man, I knew you was gonna ask this. And it's like old or new. Or does it matter?
Doesn't matter.
Wow. It's like I'm torn. There's just so much. If I could show whatever I wanted to show and didn't have to worry about copyrights and I had the money, I can get the license. Oh my gosh. I think far as new movies, it's not like brand new, but newer generation.
Mm-hmm.
If I could show in the newer side, there'd probably be a lot of vampire movies that I would show, because I like Fright Night, and I would probably definitely show From Dusk Till Dawn. From Dusk Till Dawn's one of my favorites, and John Carpenter's Vampires. I love that one too. But then when we go back to older ones that nobody can show, oh man, there's so many Universal movies, so many Hammer, especially Hammer. Even science fiction. I would probably have to throw in Forbidden Planet.
Oh,
Planet of the Vampires. There's the vampires again.
Yep.
All kinds of stuff. I mean, there's I don't know. There's so many movies. I mean, that I would want to show. Another one I liked. It's not really scary that much, but it's a horror movie and it's copyrighted too. Would be like Premature Burial. Stuff like that. I actually seen that in school. At one of my high schools, they used to have once a month you can buy a ticket and go see a movie in the theater. It was in the auditorium, and they would show movies, and that was one of the movies I seen was Premature Burial, and I was like, wow, so yeah, I don't know, man, there's not one. I couldn't pick just one. If I had the money, I'd show all of them. It'd be a lot of money, but I'd show all of them.
Now, do you go through and double check everything is in public domain, or do you sometimes risk it, or do you?
Well, there's always a risk. It really, at this time, there is always a risk, because it's not just the movie companies. Whether it's public domain or not, you have companies out there that buy the rights, and you may not know it. Then there's people, of course, you got the guy that sits in his, room somewhere and decides that he's going to make it hard for everybody, and he's going to put a copyright claim on something, 10 seconds of music that was in the movie, and he'll say it's his, and he does not have anything to do with this.
Nope.
But it will cause you problems. I've only got one copyright strike in my whole time I've been doing this on YouTube. Only one. And it was removed, and it was The Legend of Boggy Creek. And,
yeah, that's
Pamela. She can't pronounce her last name, Barcelo. And I know the way she spells Pamela is different too. But she put a copyright strike on me for that movie, And what she was doing is I actually talked to her. She's a very outstanding woman. She is very nice. She was restoring it. She'd actually got the rights from her father. You know, her father made that movie. And so she got the rights and she was restoring it. And she was going through and her attorneys were, you know, basically taking down all the bootleg copies that were out there, you know. So she wanted everybody to see it the way it originally come out. Matter of fact, I've got a Blu-ray back there, you know, I got off of her, you know, Blu-ray and a DVD. So like I said, she was real nice. And I talked to her, I said, you know, a lot of us hosts, we didn't know, you know, as far as we knew, it was public domain. And it was even on Internet Archive, because that's where I got it. And she said, well, it's not. And I, you know, but I said, well, it's been removed. And she was so nice. She got a hold of YouTube for me and got the copyright strike removed. So that is the only time that I've ever had one. Every time I put a movie on YouTube now, I get a copyright thing on there, because somebody will say they own the music. Yep. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And it just tell me that I can't, you know, collect money on it, which, like I said, I don't care.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I don't care. But sometimes I'll fight it. And because I have on my background music for my show, I purchased it. I have a license for it. And sometimes it takes, usually the owner of the theme song that I do, he realizes it, and it might be on there for like a day, and then it automatically comes off, you know. And I go through audio blocks is where I got some of my stuff, and they've got a setting on there to where if somebody strikes you for that song, I guess their bots go after their bots, or however it is, you know, Transformers or whatever the hell, you know what I'm saying? But it takes care of it. But usually I don't worry about it. I usually put all my stuff on YouTube as private, and I'll let it sit there. I usually put it on right when I'm getting ready. Usually if I'm getting ready to show it, I'll put it on there a couple days before, and let it sit, and it'll tell you without even letting people see it. That way you don't actually get the copyright strike. It'll warn you. And there's been a couple of them that I've had. There was one, oh man, I can't remember the name of it now, but it actually got removed. It got pulled, but I didn't get a strike for it. It wouldn't let me put it on. It said it was not, you know, our country couldn't show it. So, and it pissed me off because it was my Christmas special. And I was like, are you kidding me? So, you know, I had to go through and edit, and I just took out all my segments and put them together and put them on YouTube, because I couldn't show the movie. So I was like, well, shit.
Well, I'm 65 episodes into my show. I've 4 cartoons that they're like, nope, it won't air. It wasn't the fact I got a copyright strike. They're just like, nope. NBC would, because I tried to do Bionic 6, and they said no. Took that down. I tried to do Flash Gordon and Defenders of the Earth. They wouldn't let either one of those go through. And then one time, because I found it on YouTube, so I was like, hell, it's already up. So let's see if I can get past this. I tried Spider-Man's Amazing Friends, which I didn't think would go through, and it didn't. But I tried it, you know. I was like, what?
Right.
Yeah, you never know until you try. So, but
exactly.
I've never gotten a copyright strike. I've just had them, so they're like, yeah, this won't air.
That's me.
So,
yep, that's me. You know, there's been some like, well, the Astro Zombies, that's one of them. You know, it's like borderline. And, you know, another thing that I look forward to in some of these movies, even if, you know, I'll look on YouTube, and if there's like 15 freaking copies of the same movie on there, I usually feel pretty safe. But you know what? That was the same case for the one she copyright struck me on, you know, Boggy Creek. You know, there was like 15, 20 copies on there, and I was like, really? You got me? I was like, what the hell, you know?
You're not the only horror host that I've talked to that's gotten the copyright strike on Boggy Creek.
Yeah.
everybody thought it was in public domain.
Oh yeah. But
So
I got it. I mean, it threw me. I was just like, holy crap, and I actually got a strike, and I'm like, man, I'm just starting out and I've already got a strike. I was like, this sucks. But I started thinking about it, and I looked and it said, do you want to dispute it? And of course I couldn't dispute it. So I just got a hold of her because it told me who it was. And like I said, it wound up, she was real nice, and she just, she was that adamant about that movie. It was her father's movie, and she just wanted all of them off there. So
it's understandable. The one I think is funny is that I got it wasn't a copyright strike, but somebody put a copyright claim on one of my episodes, almost a 4-hour episode, and I got hit on a commercial for Play-Doh. Somebody said they owned the music that was in the Play-Doh barbershop, if I remember right. And I was like, are you kidding me? So I went in there and was like,
wow, they own the music.
Deleted that little bit out, and then it went, okay, it's 100% okay. So I was like, all right, whatever.
Wow. Yeah, it's amazing. That, that's what makes me mad about all of it. If somebody legitimately owns it, I fully understand, but somebody just to cause people pain and just, they say, well, I own this, and they don't, that really, I get perturbed at that, so it's like, but you just move on, I guess.
Oh yeah. Well, that's like me with the cartoon show. I'm legitimately, my goal is to save as many Saturday morning cartoons as I can, because some of that stuff just, it doesn't exist on DVD, it doesn't exist on VHS. Somebody recorded it probably in 1978, and that's the only version of that. So I'm like, that could be lost. And my goal is to keep it and make sure it never gets completely lost. And it's okay. So if I get hit on it, I'll take it down, I'll re-edit an episode, whatever. I got no problem doing it. But I'm also doing it over, 9 20-minute cartoons. If you look at this week, better than one movie that you got to edit that, and then you lose everything. So
that sucks. Well, I just got hit on Facebook last week, whenever I put on one of my segments, Ask Mr. Multo.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the background music that I've got a license for, and that's what they got me for. But they let it stay on Facebook. All of us could see it, but it was blocked in 72 countries. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? I was like, I got a license for this, and it's not even worth arguing with them half the time, because they won't give in.
No.
Luckily, one of our hosts, they just they took down his whole Facebook page, and he got it back on. It was like 26 hours, I think. They put him back on. All it was for a picture of I think it was a monkey eating a taco, and it was directed towards a person that's got a Facebook page that's about food, and he had a monkey holding a taco, and it was a cartoon monkey. And I don't know if somebody just flagged it or what, but they said it went against their community standards, and they pulled his whole thing. I was like, and he had just got back on there. Whoa. He'd only been on for maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and they got him. I was like, oh my God, so. But he's back on now. But like I said, I'm almost thinking somebody might have flagged him. So
I got flagged from 2000, I think 17, a few months ago, because I posted a thing. It says movies I saw way too early. I saw them when I shouldn't have been seeing it. Like, I think I had like Cannibal Holocaust, but one of them was Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS. And I just had the poster. So I had all these, I had like 10 posters. And they took it down, 5.5 years later.
Wow.
And they're like, this goes against our community standards for hate speech. I'm like, what? And I was like, okay, I get it. It's Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS, but it's how I had to go back and look. This is 2017. I'm like, why didn't you take this down when I posted it a half a decade
Yeah,
ago?
no kidding. Oh man. Yeah, it really sucks. It gets aggravating. Like I said, there's people out there. What kills me is there's people out there posting a lot of stuff that is just, horrible,
Mm-hmm.
and they know better, and everybody knows better when you see it, and they let that stuff ride.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a day going by. It's actually stopped now. I'm actually surprised, but there wasn't a day that would go by that I wouldn't get 20 or 25 friend requests from hot chicks
Oh
that
yeah.
were, check this website out, and
Yep.
they wasn't real, but I would get those every day, and I would start, I actually started rounding them up and flagging them and sending them to Facebook, and I get replies back for every one of them saying that was within their community standards. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? It's like,
oh yeah. I get the same thing on I don't get it anymore on Facebook. I used to get it. I used to get like 3 or 4 a day. It was
yeah,
always like, hey, and then the one is that I got a few of them on Instagram a while back, and the one started sending me messages, and I'm like sitting there, I'm like, oh, my phone starts bling, 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 and I'm like, what the hell? Who's texting me on Instagram? And I looked at it and I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, delete it. I go through and had to delete it. And then they still continued to send them to me. So I had to go delete it and block it so I could stop getting messages from this one. And it was like, I don't know if it was a fake account or what, but it was like, I assumed it was. Now I just get them on Twitter now, and I just get fake accounts on Twitter.
Yeah, Facebook is like, it's borderline. It's definitely on the ridiculous side, but it kills me too. Is like, all the people. The one of the things that gets me on Facebook is like, okay, so I look. Of course, I do like everybody else. I'll look and see how many of my friends have them as a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's a good amount of them that have them as a friend, I'll go ahead and add them. And I swear to God, soon as I do, within 2 hours, I get a message from them. How are you doing? And I'm just like, okay. And then have you heard the good news? And I was like, oh my God, here we go. And they're either gonna, say there's free money out from the government for COVID, or some stuff like that. I've had, I don't know how many of them. Hi, we're with the Illuminati, and we seen you, and we would like you to join the Illuminati, and you can have fame and wealth, and and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, so yeah, all I have to do is join the Illuminati, and I'm gonna be famous, right? So, it's like, okay.
Well, we joke around is everybody, because I have my own comic shop. I do the show and stuff like that, and everybody assumes now I do good. I do pretty well for myself. I'm
Right.
very comfortable now. But everybody assumes that because I own my own business and stuff like that. I don't know. Everybody assumes, but there's people out there that do assume that I make a lot of money. And literally, I had this one guy. I hadn't seen him since I want to say junior high. Found me on Facebook. And he sends me these messages like, oh man, hey, I ain't seen you forever, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right. So I friended him and we talked back and forth, talk about back in school and stuff like that. And then like a couple weeks in, he's like, hey man, I could use some money. I'm like, who the hell goes and asks somebody that they haven't talked to in 35 years?
Start asking for money.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell? At
No
least,
kidding.
yeah, I'm like, at least the people that come into shop and ask for money is a different thing. The guy, just a random guy I haven't seen since 8th grade, so 1986, 87. It just,
Wow.
hey, dude, you got money. You need to, no, I'm not going to give you.
Yeah, it's amazing, the people that are on there, and another one that gets me too is I don't know what they could do to the friend listing. It's just like, okay, so I've had, I don't know, I think it's like 4,954. That's what it is. 4,954 friends.
Mhm.
I have had that for a year, and I add on average, probably now I've slowed down because I really start scrutinizing, but I add at least 2 or 3 a week, but it never goes up. It's always the same amount. And I was like, how's that possible? So it's crazy. I think that, which I don't want to hit the 5, because if you hit 5, you can't add nobody else,
Oh yeah.
and I'm not the type of person to want to go in there and start just cutting people. Most of the time, I don't even pay attention to what I've got, or, you lose track. You get that many, you just, there's no way. I post a schedule for the Monster Channel every single day.
Yep.
I've been doing that every single day since about 2020, I think. And a lot of people don't see it till 3 days later. I'm like, well, it was for today, and then they'll see it by the weekend. I'm like, okay.
Oh yeah. Well, that's one of the problems I think with Facebook. My buddy does. He works for me, does my comics at the shop,
Mhm.
and he gets the list of all the comics that we don't see in the order book. So they'll have like a variant cover for something coming out or whatever, and he'll post it. I'm like, oh, that'll look cool. And he goes, dude, that was a week ago. What? I'll go through and I'm like, yep, that was a week ago. I just got the damn message today. All
Wow,
right. So, but
that's amazing.
well, what's funny is that a while back I show what new books come out, at least books that I get every week, and
Right.
all of a sudden I got this one thing. It was like on Instagram, went through fine on YouTube, on Facebook, went fine on Twitter. Instagram took me down because you could barely hear an episode of CSI on in the background.
Wow.
I was like, it said
Wow.
CBS whatever, and I'm like, what? Why is CBS going after me? And I read really close on the disclaimer, and they're like, so I got on there and I like turned the volume up. And I'm like, I guess you can hear it. I'm like listening to the speaker.
You can thank the digital age for that, because that's what they pick up on. That's why everything went digital. They have a code line and everything, so that's
Mm-hmm.
what those bots pick up on. But unfortunately, it's just like, really, you're walking past someone that's got a radio on, they're out washing their car, and you're doing a video, and all of a sudden you hear the music in the background, then your stuff gets taken down because of that song that was being played in somebody's driveway. It's like,
Oh,
come on, man. There's got to be, you need to lighten up a little bit. Come on.
oh
you
yeah.
know
My youngest son, he likes to sneak down and sit on the couch and watch TV while I'm recording. And I'm always like, no, because I don't need. Because then he'll go over and turn up the volume, and I'm like, no, I don't want to get taken down because you're watching a cartoon or watching,
right.
listening to music. So, all right, here we go. We're getting back to hard hitting questions
All
again.
right.
You ready for this one?
All right. Let's have it.
Here we go. Time and money is no issue. So this is living or dead, whatever. Who are you having on your show? What guest?
Oh, shit. Well, time doesn't matter if they're living or not. Let's see. Who am I going to have on my show? Wow. That's amazing. You really put me on a spot. Man, who would I have on my show? So many. It's like, wow. It's like I don't know why. It's like, first people I think about is people that are not here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But then I start thinking, well, there's a lot of people still here that I would like to meet or something like that. Wow, that is a tough one.
No.
Uh,
Okay. Okay.
well,
We can get back to that one.
yeah,
Do
you have
you
to come back to that one.
do you have a go-to movie?
Do I have a go-to movie?
Yeah, that you can always watch no matter when. Like if you're even just watching
Oh my
TV.
gosh. I mean, oh man, there's actually quite a few of them, but there's one that I do. It's always a Thanksgiving tradition, and we watch it as a family. We've been doing it for since it came out, on DVD, and that's Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman. It's like a tradition. We just like watch that every Thanksgiving, without fail. I would say that would probably be one. Man, there's so many though. I mean, there's so many. It's just like today I was watching Dracula's Brides, and it was only like a couple months ago. I just watched it then, So there's so many of these movies that I watch over and over again. But yeah, that's one I definitely know that I could just watch. But I mean, there's so many though. I mean, like I don't know how many times I've seen Aliens, the second one, but I've watched that with the Marines. I love that movie. But yeah, there's just so many of them that I'm like that anyway. There's certain movies I'll just, if it's on, a funny story was that when my boys were real little, and I'd get up every Sunday morning, and I would make them breakfast. And like I said, it just seemed like it worked that way. We had I think DirecTV satellite, and I'd turn the TV on, and I'm in the kitchen cooking, and I could see the TV from the kitchen, and they're sitting on the couch, and it seemed like every single Sunday, without fail, the Breakfast Club was on. So, and it was just like every Sunday it was like the Breakfast Club, and and I was just like, man, is that all this channel shows is the Breakfast Club? But it seemed like my kids would watch it, and I wouldn't turn it off because they were watching it. But it was just like, oh my gosh, I could hear just it's like I knew the whole movie.
Oh yeah.
So many movies like that. But there's oh my God, there's just so many. But yeah, that's some people didn't like Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman. Some did. I actually liked it just because of how they incorporated the classic monsters into it.
Oh yeah.
And I think the first time I seen that was at the drive-in, and I loved it. That's another thing I miss is drive-ins. So
I try to go to the drive-in
always wanted to.
A year.
Yeah, I always wanted to have, like, if I won the lottery, I wanted to have a actual theater. That would be Morbid Mansion Theater, so you have the actual theater. So I thought that would be cool.
I'm thinking about trying to do that myself now. Being able to like go, okay, well, if I can find an old theater that I can take, and because I have my storefront here, I can move my storefront to another town, maybe not, but set up a store and then use the theater still. And therefore,
Right.
I can always be making money and then show movies.
Yeah, I mean, that would be awesome, I think.
Oh yeah.
It's like I know a lot of people a lot of theaters had a hard time when they went digital, getting the new projectors and stuff, costs so much money. We lost one of our drive-ins last year they tore it down? Skyborn.
Oh, Skyborn's gone? Jeez.
Yeah, it's gone. And they took the skating rink that was right next to it too. They demolished all of it. And like I said, that's been there forever.
Oh,
It's been, it went from being a drive-in to an adult drive-in. I used to hear stories about that. The pilots flying over and they'd see the screen. It's like, wow. Yeah.
When I was a kid, the skating rink was a Christian skating rink.
Correct.
Right next door was the porno drive-in. One of my good friends would take me down there with him and his church group, and I would bounce about halfway out and go, and I'd hang up and set on the fence.
I mean that was that way for quite a many years. Actually, I mean, it was that way. So then they changed it back, and it did pretty good, and now it's gone. I think there's not very many left. I know the Melody 49 is still out there,
Dixie, Melody
and
49.
and Dixie's definitely there. But when I was a kid, my goodness, I don't know if I can remember all of them. There was one on Valley Street in North Dayton,
Yeah.
right next to the highway years
Mhm.
ago. And then, of course, we had Belmont
Mhm.
Drive-In, and we had Dixie, but like right not far from Dixie was North Star. There was another one. They
Yeah.
were like, yeah, they were like not even a half a mile apart.
Nope.
And then you had Southland 75, where the Dayton Mall is. There was that one. Then you had Park Lane.
Oh,
And of course, you had Melody 49. You had Captain Kidd. You had the South Twin over on West 3rd Street. Oh my gosh, there was just so many drive-ins, and a lot of times, a lot of them would have fireworks every weekend after the movie, and they always, like, the ones I liked was the ones that they would show a cartoon first. They had playground right in front of the screen for the
Mhm.
kids, and it was cool. The whole family would just go, and now it's gone.
Yeah. It's
But you got, big comfortable chairs to sit in now, with a bucket of popcorn and a half a gallon of Coke, so we're good.
I, I used to take my van at the drive-in, Sydney drive-in, and I'd always take it, flip my van around, put all the seats down, throw blankets and stuff in
Yep.
there. Me and my wife, my kids would just hang in the back. Sometimes they'd fall asleep. Me and my wife would watch a movie. And I haven't been to the drive-in because Sydney's 12 miles away from me. And I try to hit that like at least twice a summer, but I didn't go at all last summer, which kind of,
Right.
so much. I hopefully go this summer, maybe.
Yeah, I think last time I was at drive-in with Skyborn, and I think it was the Dark Knight Batman movie with Heath Ledger. And yeah, I mean, I think that was the last time I was actually went and watched the movie at the drive-in. So
Now, being a horror host, are you one of, you're showing it on TV, on the computer. Now, are you a theater person where you love to see movies in a movie theater, or would you rather see them at home?
depends. It's kind of like people, they always say, well, you remember back in the day, the big thing with music, people pirating music and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, and it's like, oh, you need to pay the artist. Well, you know what? Guess what? If I liked the friggin' song in the band, I went right out and bought the damn DVD. I mean, the CDs, and same thing with movies now. It depends on if it's something that I know that's really going to be good, I'll go to the theater. But if it's going to be so, I'll wait for it to be on DVD, or, of course, like, we got Netflix, we got everything now, but most of the time I'll wait for the DVD, and if I want it, I'll go buy it. But like I said, certain movies I actually will still go to the theater. I mean, like when Halloween 2018 come out, I was there. I had to see that. Then I went and seen Halloween Kills. Same way. Uh, I said there's been quite a few movies I've actually went and seen. I do love the theater. I always did. We used to have the cheap theater here, and they tore it down here in Huber Heights, and so
Yeah,
now they just got the one with the luxury seats in it,
yeah. You didn't
so
get
you
the
can
Danbury. Yeah, they
yeah,
took
the
it down.
Danbury's gone, so
Yeah. Uh,
used to go there. I used to enjoy that, just to go in there and get a bucket of popcorn, sit back and watch a movie. Didn't have to sign a lease to be able to watch a movie. Take out a mortgage.
oh,
But
right.
yeah, I mean, most of the time though, I'll wait, anymore, just because it costs so much. And like I said, time is my enemy. It really is. I mean, so it's like, when I'm not at work, my normal job, I'm here doing stuff, for either the Monster Channel, my channel, or, something, so I'm always doing something. And it's like, I used to go to bed by 9 o'clock every night. Then it went to 9:30. Then it went to 10, and I get up at 4:15 every morning. So yeah, it's rough, but I don't hardly even sleep anymore. So it's like I always got stuff to do, man.
You're getting up shortly after I go to bed. I
Wow.
I go to bed
Yeah.
about 2 in the morning every night. Usually I get up, but I usually get up at 9. That's two
Yeah.
in the morning, 9 in the morning.
Well, the weekend I'll be that way, and then Monday morning when I have to get up, I'm mad because I stayed up. I go to bed Sunday early, kind of early, but it's just like I already stayed up on Friday and Saturday, so now my body's wanting to stay up, Sunday night too. So,
oh yeah,
but oh well, it's like I gotta do what I gotta do, man.
well, my problem is I went from third shift. I've been on third shift forever, and I never quite got off of it.
Yep.
Now I live like a second shifter, but
I've been there, done that.
Yeah, at least I'm not getting up at going to bed at 7 in the morning, getting up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So
yeah, it's rough.
Do you do your show? Do you have people that work on your show with you, or do you do it all by yourself?
I am the writer. I do the script. I'm the writer. I am the director, the producer, the editor, the whole thing. It's just like, that's just me. I sit there and I don't usually stick to a script, but I got to have some kind of direction, so I'll write it out and I'll proof it over and over again, looking at it, and then I'll add stuff to it. And, like I said, if I don't like it, and I'll actually sit there and read it out loud. Yeah, that sucks. And I'll sit there and delete it. And then, I've got a teleprompter too. I've tried using it. It sucks, so like I said, yeah, it sucks. I don't want to be that guy that, is like end of quote, repeat line, but, reading stuff that you're not supposed to say, but anyway, like I said, I just, I tried doing that, but it doesn't work. So it's better. I just have to have some kind of direction. So I usually stick mostly to the script, but there's a lot of ad lib to it. So that's what I do. And like I said, but yeah, I get all that done. And then, like I said, I usually work on the movie first that I'm going to show, especially if I'm going to, make a lot of edits to it, and I'll get that taken care of. And then I start filming my stuff, and then it's the splice everything together and get everything. And it's like the last movie I did, I was so pissed off because I used to try to do the whole thing all in one take, and that's you can't do that, so what I do now is I actually split it up into my segments. And but I did the first segment, and this just happens, I swear, my last show that I did, Astro Zombies, I didn't have the microphone turned on, and I'm sitting there, and so I get back and I'm I use Filmora is my editing software, and I sit there and I pulled it up and everything looked real good, and I'm sitting there, why can't I hear it? So I'm sitting there messing with it. I'm like, do I got this muted or something? And I looked down at my mic and the light wasn't on. I was like, oh my God. So I had to go back and redo that whole segment, and I was pissed because anymore it takes me about 20 times to get each segment because I get tongue tied. I can't talk. It's like, I'll read it. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sitting there while I'm reading it, I'll just spit it right out like, oh yeah, then turn on the camera, can't talk. This is like, what the hell? Yeah, I'm all tongue tied, messing up, saying words that wasn't even there, so yeah. If you'd see the bloopers I got, it'd be I need to do that. I actually need to make one just all the bloopers because there's quite a bit of them. So.
See, I probably should have kept mine, like my bloopers, but to be honest, I'm like, when I get done editing, it's like delete the stuff I didn't use. I'll go back to the stuff I used. My son did that with the microphone. My microphone's right there. You get that little light right there. When muted, it blinks, and I'm filming my
Right.
episode, not paying any attention, doing the whole thing, and all of a sudden I like go to grab a pen or something. And I look and I see that light blinking, and I had filmed. I'm like, so I had to edit all that back, just throw it away, start all over again.
Yep.
And then by
Yeah,
that
it
time,
sucks, man.
didn't like what I did to begin with, so I was like, do this way.
Yeah, it definitely sucks.
Oh man. So got to get back to one. Have you thought about who you'd invite on the show?
Lon Chaney Jr.
Lon Chaney Jr.
Yeah,
Good answer.
I just think that would be cool. I love the werewolf. That was one of my favorite movies, The Werewolf. I don't, out of all of them, Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, and I don't know what it was. Another one I did like too, though, was the Creature from the Black Lagoon, and they filmed a lot of that. A lot of it was on, Hollywood set, of course, but a lot of the water scenes were filmed in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't too far from where I lived. So, that was a big fascination for me when I, found that out. I was like, oh man, that's not far from where I used to live, But yeah, I think it would definitely be Lon Chaney Jr.,
Well, Lon Chaney Jr. was cool because Lon Chaney Jr., I mean, you think about all the movies he was in. He was not just the Wolfman. He was
right.
Dracula's son.
Yep.
He was in, I can't remember which Frankenstein movie he was in. But yeah, he was everywhere, and even towards the end, man, when he was Spider Baby and stuff like that.
Yeah, Spider Baby.
Yeah, that stuff's great. And
yep.
But that's a good one. All right, here we go. Now, you said that Mr. Multo evolved to become where he is now.
Right.
Did the costume evolve any? Did you get different masks? Did you get different, like the costume,
no,
the hands? Just
the mask is the same. The robe's different. I actually have a girl, I think she lives in Idaho. She made both my robes for me. I went and bought, I think I was at Foy's costume shop, and I bought my first robe, and I hated it. And so I was on Etsy, and that's where it was. I was on Etsy, and I seen a Grim Reaper robe, and so I started talking to her. I still talk to her to this day. She'll get on her and ask me how I'm doing, and she talks about old stories. She was into Spenguli, the Jerry Bishop Spenguli. She's from out west, so that was her favorite host. So we hit it off. But yeah, she made my first one, and it's pretty thin. I still have it. It's still hanging up, and I like it, but I wanted more to match all the the tethered look, and so I got a hold of her and I said, can you make one a little thicker and make it look, where it's like aged look? And she's like, and she sent me a picture. She said, how does this look? And I was like, that's it right there. And she said, I'll have to drive. So I think she had to drive like 30 miles or something to go get this material. And it was white. So she had to dye it. And I was like, wow, I hate to put you out like that. She's like, oh, you'll pay for it. And I was like, oh, okay, well, So yeah, she dyed it and sent it to me, and it come out. And I seen there was still a lot of light areas on it. So I actually bought it's like a spray on dye, like it's almost like Krylon, spray can, but it's material dye. And so I hung it outside and went to town on it. So now it's got it's got a lot of highlights in it. It actually looks pretty good. So, I like it, but it is thick and it is hot, so I think like during the summer, I go back to the lighter one, and then like when if a con's going to be air conditioned, I'll wear this one, or like the Halloween, the haunted houses or festivals, it's in October. So I'll wear this one because I don't have to worry about freezing, so.
Oh, cool. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah, she's made both of them. So yeah, I haven't changed a whole lot though.
Cool.
The same.
Now how much of we're gonna ruin the thing. How much of Jonathan and Mr. Multo is there together? Uh
Well, they're always together. But it's like, I don't know. It's like we're like two sides of a coin. It's like you know, sarcastic. So basically this is just a projection of how I really am anyway. I'm tend to be on a comedian side. I never take anything serious, as much, as I probably should, but I always make a joke out of everything, which can be bad sometimes. But it's just, there's life is just too serious anymore, and it's just like need some comedy relief, So, but yeah, Jonathan is he does all the business part of everything, and Mr. Multo is just, he's the ham and, takes all the credit for everything. So
Now, do you have any advice for people who want to become a horror host?
do it. Do it. I say this all the time, but it doesn't matter. I've heard so many people say, well, don't do, I'm not going to watch them. They got a damn sheet hanging in the background, guess what? You got a sheet hanging in the background. Who cares? It doesn't matter. You want to do it. The only thing I could say is this, don't flat out copy somebody else. Come up with your own thing, no matter what it is. Come up with your own thing, and of course, do some research. And honestly, a lot of advice I've got was from other hosts. First people that I got a hold of was the Mummy and the Monkey. I got a hold of James, the monkey, and I just started firing questions, and he was awesome. He'd answer everything, and but like I said, it just do it, but be able to take criticism. I see that a lot is like, without mincing words here, I see people all the time, you give them just a little bit of criticism, they get butthurt. And you're not doing it in a mean, even you're not doing it in a mean way and say, hey man, your show sucked last week. No, I'm not saying, hey, why don't you, you should try this or do this, or something like that, and they get all offended and butt hurt, and then they unfriend you and don't talk to you no more and stuff like that. You got to be able to take some criticism. I get it all the time, but I actually, I look forward to it, especially if it's another host. If somebody says, hey man, why don't you try doing this or something like that, I don't turn down any advice. I don't always use it, of course, but I listen to all of it, because there's probably something there I could use, and so that would be the main thing I would just say, just go for it, do it. We got to keep this stuff alive, and the more people that, the way I look at it, I'm not going to be here forever, and a lot of the hosts, same way. I mean, we're not, all of us ain't going to be here forever. So if we can just keep this stuff going, just do it, come up with a character and do some research and just, go for it, start making them. And like mine, like I told you earlier, I said, I think, probably the first 12 shows I made sucked. So, but you know what? I was wanting, I thought about remaking every single one of them, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'll just leave them there. I got a separate section on my website for them, but I didn't take them down. I left them, and they stuck. You can see me. I'm not even. It's like not even animated at all. I just like it's like I'm reading off of a cue card and I'm just all stiff and it's like no character whatsoever, you know. So you know, it takes a while. So, you know, don't be ashamed of what you do. You're doing what you want to do, have fun doing it, and you know, just go for it.
Yeah. Everything's a learning experience. Every episode's
Oh
gonna
yeah.
be, yeah. Um Now, do you have any episodes that you said you wish you would go back and redo? Is there any that you're just like that have never seen the light of day that you're just like, yeah, that's just horrible. I'm not.
No,
Nope.
actually, no, actually, every show I've done, I've got on my website, you know, and you know, now the trick to it is that if you look at my YouTube channel, you won't see them. But if you get on my website, you'll see them, and they're still linked to YouTube. So it's like the bypass of, you know, the way I've got them set up. I've got certain videos set up on YouTube, and they'll say, you know, private or whatever, but somehow my website bypasses that, so you can actually still get on there and see them. The only one that won't let you watch it on my website is the Vampire Hookers. You'll have to actually go to YouTube to watch it. They'll direct you to that, but because of the rating, you know, it won't let you watch it on my, you know, GoDaddy has a thing on there, you know, well, we're not gonna let you put that, but we'll let you link to it. So yeah.
Now, how many episodes do you get out in a season?
Well, you know, honestly, I was always the type, I never go by seasons. I just make them, you know, and I there's been, you know, big thing is life happens. That's, you know, big time. You know, last year especially was real rough for me. And there were a lot of things happened last year, and family wise and everything like that. And even COVID, you know, I had COVID back in September, and it just seemed like one thing right after another. I'm like, really? You know, I felt like Joe Pesci and My Cousin Vinny. He's like, you know, I got a judge that just, you know, he's wanting to throw me in jail every day. Your biological clock is ticking. Is there anything else you can put on these shoulders? You know, that's exactly the way I felt, you know, and it was just like, really? But, you know, finally it just started smoothing out. And then I got back on the horse and started doing it, you know. And, you know, and the bad thing about it is I feel bad. You know, if I'm not making something and I feel like I'm not contributing, that, you know, I got all these hosts on the Monster Channel right now, you know, it's just like they're like all in, you know, and they just, you know, nonstop coming out. And I'm just like, well, you know, I had one like 6 months ago, and you know, I had one before that, like 3 months before that. So yeah, I mean, you know, I hate it, you know, it feels bad, but you know, like I said, there's just nothing you can do about it. Life happens, man.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know.
I do my show, but my show Saturday morning is a stress reliever for me. I just
Yeah.
so it helps me to like, all right, I'm just gonna sit here, gonna chill out, gonna do this. So
Yeah.
um
Another back to the one more thing, back to anybody that wants to be a host, is don't put it off. You know, it's like, well, I can just do this next week. You know, once you start going down that road, that's it. You know, it'll be 2 months before you know it, 3 months. So if
and,
it's in your head and you're wanting to do it, just get on there and just do it, knock it out, you know.
no, yeah. And I found out it's like you're never too old because I've talked to other horror hosts that are like, I'm retired and now I just decided to be a horror host. I'm like, well, hell yeah.
Well, I plan on I'm gonna retire, and I will be going to the Philippines. So permanently. And that's the plan anyway. But you know what? Mr. Multo's going with me, you know. So actually, you know, as far as out of the 100 and I think 120 some countries that's watched the Monster Channel, Philippines is one of them, you know.
Yep.
So they're into that stuff over there too. So like I said, I'll just do the show from there. I might not be able to go to the cons, I'm sure ain't gonna fly 20 some hours to go to a con, but but I'll still do them till I can't do it no more. I'll keep doing it.
All right. Well, you got any upcoming cons that you're going to be going to?
Definitely Horror Hound, September. That's gonna be the Horror Host Hall of Fame actually in Cincinnati this year, not Indianapolis. So definitely gonna be there for that. Uh, I don't think I'll be there the whole weekend like I was last time. Just I won't have a table this time, but I will be there for that. And hopefully there'll be a lot of hosts there that I'll get to meet finally, and that will be great. But I'm definitely doing that one. And like I said, I've got a little excursion coming up. There's a little feud going on between two of the hosts, and they're going to settle it in a ring. So coming up next month,
Hack and slash.
so I have to go be in my brother's corner. So yeah, I'll be in Knoxville, Tennessee come the 20th of August. So I'm doing that. And then like I said, then it just starts after that. It'll be September is the September 9th and 10th and 11th, I think, is the Horror Hound. And then of course we know what October is, so it's probably going to be haunted houses and festivals and stuff like that. So, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I have to make a show for DATV in Dayton for, I think they're having basically a whole bunch of shows in a row on DATV, if I'm not mistaken. That's how they're going to do it. Matthew Brassfield, he got in touch with me, so I'm going to be making a show for that. Matter of fact, I got to get a hold of him and tell him what I'm going to do then. It's so hard for me to think about November. I'm still thinking about what I'm going to do next. I've already got my movie picked for next, but like I said, a lot of things coming up. So, mix that with work. Yeah, it's it's a little congested here, but I'll pull it off.
Cool. Do your rundown on where we can find you at.
Would be like I said, morbidmansiontheater.com, and you can look Mr. Multo up on YouTube. You can look him up on Facebook. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think I'm on Snapchat or something but I haven't been on there in a while, but there's a bunch of pictures on there. But yeah, that's the main thing is my website's morbidmansiontheater.com. And like I said, always on the Monster Channel, so that's my home away from home right there is the Monster Channel. That's actually, I am so thankful and grateful to the Monster Channel. That's like my favorite place to be, Yep. So
I get to talk to Halloween Jack Sunday.
Oh, awesome. That I owe him a lot.
Yeah.
He thanks us all the time. That guy is like, he works, I don't know how he gets like 36 to 40 hours in a day. I don't see how he does it, but he does manage to do it. He's better than the mailman. He doesn't care what the weather is. And I mean, even when he's sick, it's hard to keep him down. I've heard the stories, they try to keep him down when he's sick. Nah, he still has at it, and but I owe him a lot. Him and Slash Cooper. I owe both of them a lot, so
yeah.
They are the ones that gave me my break. So
I got an interview coming up with Slash sometime down the road. Every time we plan one, it falls through lately. But he's had some help.
Yeah, there's a lot been going on in his life too. Yep. So like I said, I know we talked in March, and here we are almost to August, and now we're talking finally. So yeah, it took a while, but yeah, like I said, he actually I got in touch with him, and I said, I got videos, check this out, see what you think. And I was actually with another channel, and he was like, that's, awesome. And he said, have you need to talk to Jack. And, I was like reluctant, not because I didn't want to, just intimidated, I guess. It was like nervous, everything. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. So I got a hold of him and gave him a link to my stuff. And next thing you know, he's like, basically he just wanted to start me like right away. And I was like, okay. And he's like, can we show this on Saturday? And I was like, sure. And I was like, when? He said, Saturday at 10 o'clock. He goes, you'll follow up the Bone Jangler. I was like, oh, really? No pressure whatsoever. I don't know. Oh my gosh, really? I was like, okay. So it's like, because I already knew who the Bone Jangler was. I was like, oh my God, it's like talking about nervous and intimidated. I was like, wow. But, everybody is real cool, and it was awesome. So.
Cool. Yeah, it's nice seeing that with the horror host. I've noticed that it doesn't matter what your background is, where you come from, whatever. When it comes to being a horror host, pretty much everybody's like throws everything else aside. It's like,
yep.
That's a new horror host, I'll work with him, or willing to help anybody. So, I think that's really cool. So
it is. I'm still waiting though. Like I said, you just had him on your show, was Baron von Porkchop. I still have to get with him. We gotta do a crossover, another Dayton guy, so I need to make that happen here soon. We've talked about it. We went to, I guess you could call it a con. It was in Delphos, Ohio, and it was me, Don O'Malley, Gruesome Graves, Matthew Brassfield was there, Baron von Porkchop, the Mummy and the Monkey, Drac and Karita, and like I said, we were all there, and we got invited, and we went. It was, I think it was like maybe a couple weeks before Halloween. It was in October. Man, you could just hear the crickets chirping. There was a lot of. It was more like a little expo. They had all the the pop things and the comic books and stuff like that, and we were there. And so the weather was bad, so a lot of people didn't show up. And then it's like when people come over and they're like looking at us like, who in the hell are these people? And what we didn't know, the guy that got us there, he didn't tell us, but it was like a real Bible Belt town. Oh yeah. So we're here, horror hosts are in here, and it was just like, well, so yeah, like I said, you could hear the crickets chirping. It was just like we were entertaining each other because there was just nothing else to do. There's some people that come through, they had a costume contest, and I think there was, actually my son come in and he won. I couldn't vote because they wanted the host to vote, and I was like, well, I got to back out. I can't vote because he's my son, and he won. He come as Thor, and so yeah, he won it. So I was like, okay, cool. But there wasn't anybody else there, man. It was just like crazy.
We'll have to get you guys up to the PickwaCon, my con up here in Pickwa.
Yeah.
We're having that in November. I just got to get the date locked down for the mall again.
Yeah, that's close to me. So
yeah, you're 30 minutes down the road, I think.
Yeah.
75. But you talking about the Baron, he tried to talk me into bringing out my my character that I created when I was going to do a horror host. And he's like, we got to do a crossover. We're going to have to bring him out. And I was like, well, maybe. I still have the stuff. I can go get him out anytime. So, yeah. Get to see.
Yeah, I'd do it. I'd go for it.
Yep. And Yeah, I'm sitting there. I'm like, man, maybe I ought to do a one-off episode here and there, just like a quarterly or something. Do a holiday
Yeah, I'd do
episode?
it. I'd go for it.
Yeah, but my goal is hopefully in the next month or so I'll get another building and I can have an actual studio set up, so I don't have to.
Right.
Yeah, because you get this show is this aimed this way. My other show, I just move the camera and shoot that way.
Well, yeah, whatever it takes,
That's
man.
what works. So, well,
Like in here, man, you'd be surprised.
yeah.
It's like, wow.
Is that the Zach Wild guitar behind you?
Yes, indeedy Petey. That is Zach Wild's it's the Epiphone, but yeah, it's the actual signature series. Both my sons went in on that and got that for me for my birthday.
That's nice.
And of course, I've got the 7.5-foot Reaper guarding it there, so he keeps anybody from messing with it. And like I said, I've got, I don't know, all through the house, I've probably got 50 or 60 Reapers everywhere, well, who would have thought,
Yeah.
but, so yeah, I collect Reapers. So.
All right. Well, that's cool, man. It's oh, okay. I got to ask you the news that just came out yesterday, I believe. Pantera's reforming
I've
with
seen that.
Zach Wild on guitar. What do you think?
Well, like I said, him and Dimebag were like best friends, and so like I said, I think it'd be awesome. I think it'd be a good tribute to Dimebag. I know there's been issues when Dimebag was still here, with Phil and stuff like that, but I think it would be awesome. Actually, I couldn't think of a better person to play, the guitar, be Zach, because they were like brothers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, why not?
Yep. It's because I get people like I've seen Pantera like 8 times.
Wow.
The real Pantera, back in the day. And everybody's like, how do you feel? I was like, I'm all for it, man. I was like,
yeah, I mean, go for it.
Dimebag hung out with Anthrax a lot.
Yeah.
He played music on a couple albums for them. He was really good friends with Zach Wild. They did stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
Phil, and I guess from what I understand, him and Phil had started mending fences before he passed away, but Vinny never got over that. So, right. But it's. I'd hate to see how much tickets are going to be, but
yeah, they'll probably be up there. But like I said, I think it would be good. I think it would sound real good. As far as the music, anyway. I don't know what Phil sounds like now. I haven't heard anything he's been doing, but like I said, I think it would be good.
Yeah, he's still doing pretty good. He does Down and what was it? Oh man, I can't remember his other band. Well, he's got Super Joint Ritual and Down, and then he's got another one like Phil Anselmo and the Illegals, I believe. So
right.
Yep. But all right. Well, sir, I'm going to let you go so you can go crash.
Well, no, I'll probably actually. I don't even know what time is it. Going on what 10?
Almost 10 o'clock.
Huh?
Almost 10 o'clock.
Wow, time flies.
Yeah.
But I'll probably stay up, for a while. It's the weekend for me, so but it's been real cool, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. I will hopefully see you in September down at Horror Hound. My problem is I'm going to a concert on the 11th all the way up in Detroit.
Wow.
So I'm going to go down on a Saturday and then drive all the way back.
Well, I can tell you my plan is probably going to be there Friday.
Friday?
And, well, I'll stay all night. I was going to stay 2 nights, but, found out there's not really going to be a table or anything like that. So I'll probably be there and then into Saturday because I know the Horror Host Hall of Fame is Saturday. I don't know what time. I don't know the details, but I'll definitely be there, Saturday up to a certain point. And then after that, I'll probably just head back to the homestead. I'm not going to be there Sunday. So, but yeah.
Usually my Sunday's my con day because that's the only day I have Thursdays and Sundays off.
Right.
But I own the business, so I get to take
Yeah.
days off whenever I want to take a day off.
True. But you still got to get the business. So
Yep,
yeah,
gotta make the money, gotta pay the bills.
that's it.
Yep. So I want to thank you for everything you're doing. I want to thank you for your show. I love watching it. Like I
I
said,
appreciate it. I really do.
I hooked my buddy up with your Gargoyles episode because I love that movie Gargoyles.
Oh, I love Gargoyles.
Such a sucker for that movie.
Yeah.
It's like up until relatively recently, I didn't know that came out when it came out because I'd seen it so many times over the years.
Right.
I thought it came out later. But yeah, I just, you guys, especially you doing it all by yourself, pounding out those episodes. Congratulations.
I appreciate it.
One question: what's your next episode you're working on?
I'm thinking of Grave of the Vampire. There's a reason for this. You know, I have the Ask Mr. Multo skit now.
Mm-hmm.
I have got bombarded with vampire questions. So my next Ask Mr. Multo segment is going to have a special guest answering the questions. So yeah, so I think it's all going to be a vampire themed show. So that's what's in the works. So we'll see how. It's actually an excellent copy I got. So we'll see how good that comes out. So
sweet. Well, I'm going to let you go, sir, and you have
a
good night. Take care.
You have a good one. I appreciate it.
Yep, and I'll talk to you soon. I'll let you know when the episode's going to drop and all that fun stuff.
All right.
All right.
Good deal. Take care. Peace.
Take care. Later.